is a podcast.
Morning, Catholics around the world are processing a stunning report out of Pennsylvania detailing horrific sexual abuses of children by hundreds of priests across the state of Pennsylvania. State Attorney General Josh Shapiro led the 2-year-long investigation and spoke very bluntly about the church's efforts to repeatedly cover up these crimes.
You are rocking with the best. Rocking with the welcome to the best. Rocking with the best. Rocking with the welcome to the best. Rocking with the best. Welcome back to the best 1 hour of your week. My name is Tyler Butler. This is to the right is my right-hand man, Josh Smith.
Yes, sir.
You're now rocking with the best, which is Enough with the BS podcast. Thank you guys for listening, however, wherever you may be listening, whether it's mysportsculture.com, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and now we are on our own radio station, Jay, which is X Squad Affiliates Radio. You guys can go to xsquadaffiliates.com. 24-hour radio station. We are now part of the group. And also, I just wanted to thank each and every one of you, because if you guys don't follow us on Instagram, we had some breaking news earlier last week. We got an email from iHeartRadio stating that this year alone, we have reached 1,000 plays on iHeartRadio. So that was major news for us here at Enough for the BS podcast, and we couldn't do it without you. Thank you very much. But Jay,
It's gonna be a nasty
boy, this episode could be for your children if you want them to learn, but it is going to be extremely graphic, so I don't know if I would recommend them listening to this podcast.
Sit this one out.
Any news you would like to address, go over before we break down Who Can You Trust 2?
Yeah, like we was talking, I ain't watched sports in a little minute.
Me neither. It's been kind of dead right now. You know, Serena Williams can't wear a cat suit.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there. Preseason kind of boring.
I didn't know what was going on with the Serena thing, but I guess somebody didn't like her suit.
Yeah, like a suit.
But,
Cam almost broke his neck.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, preseason game. He
He was diving or something?
diving around like a lunatic.
I wish he would have dove like that in the Super Bowl.
But man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time to give you what many has been requesting for years. And I say years because we did Who Can You Trust Part 1 about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
It was pretty much exposing cricket preachers in the Christian community. But this is part 2. And if you can't tell how the way I'm talking it, boy, this is going to be a serious show. But just to lighten it back up, you know, and recap Who Can You Trust Run, we talked about Creflo Dollar, how he was talked this congregation into buying him a jet.
Gotta spread the word.
Yeah.
If Jesus was here, he would need a jet to spread the word. So Creflo just is trying to be Jesus Christ-like.
Yeah, I guess so. Then you had that preacher who went to court because he was spending way too much money and it wasn't matching with his books. Mm-hmm. They got in him over that.
Non-profit over here, no taxes.
There it is. I'm glad you said that. I also wanted to recap. We learned that churches, unlike regular non-profit organizations, don't have to display all of their profits. So they can pocket a ton of money
and not pay no taxes or tell anybody.
Exactly, or tell anybody or pay taxes on it, as you just said. So there's a lot of money laundering doing with these preachers over here, man. But boy, we about to get into a different type of take advantage of the church community with this podcast. As I mentioned, man, the breakdown we about to go into is very, very dark. And it's probably too graphic for younger children ears. So if you have them in the room, please excuse them right now. We'll give you just a couple of seconds. Jay, before we get into this, did you follow or look into this story?
I just don't have the heart to do it. I've just heard bits and pieces, but it's a mess right now. From what I've seen so far.
Yeah, we're gonna crack the music down a little bit because I want you guys to hear the seriousness of these allegations and what I found out. What's going on in these churches, man? This may make you not even want to go to church anymore. Especially if you are a Catholic. Jay, now, I, on the other hand, I'm starting to go to church more often.
Okay.
I'm not sure about yourself.
Yeah, I don't go. Yeah, I don't.
That's all right, brother. I ain't here to judge you. Still my brother. Certain churches may judge you, but I don't care.
I feel you. I appreciate that. No judgment zone.
But boy, this, not only will this may make you not want to go, but take your children, and we gonna get into it.
Yeah, we definitely ain't going to no Catholic church.
No. Ironically, Jay, this happened in the same state as Jerry Sandusky.
Oh, wow.
Pennsylvania. What is wrong with you people up there in Pennsylvania? What type of sick freaks are y'all breeding up there in Pennsylvania? Is that why freaking Philadelphia Eagle fans are so stupid?
Oh.
What is it in the water up there?
They won the Super Bowl, so I mean.
But they some of the dumbest fans on earth. Shout out to our Philadelphia listeners. But you know deep down in your heart, your boy Joey that serve up cheesesteaks. Something's wrong with your boy. But that's just Joey.
That's just Joey, yeah.
Jerry Sandusky and these priests are on a completely different level.
Just don't know what's going on.
But man, let me see if I can crank it down one more notch for the music. Jay, once again, this is going to be a lot of investigation and storytelling. You cut me off at any particular time. If you got any questions, since you said this is kind of news to you as well. Yeah. Whoa. Guys, I'm going to tell you, this is so serious, it's like I don't even want to get into it.
I don't blame you.
But we have to, so here we go. Who can you trust to? So, Jay, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court made public one of the broadest ever investigations into Catholic churches. It was a Catholic sexual abuse amongst minors, and this was the biggest investigation amongst Catholic sexual abuse in United States history. That's setting the story right there. We're going into historic territories. They released a 1,400-page grand jury report from a result of an 18-month investigation. In that report, it named 300 priests accused of child sexual abuse of more than 1,000 victims. I heard your reaction. Well, what you got so far? We ain't even got into it, but that's crazy, right?
300.
300. But
in one place.
That's just Pennsylvania.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, this is just one state and one church.
Yeah, well, it was a couple of churches involved. But over 300 priests in one area. Not the United States. Not the East. Not the West Coast.
In the state.
In one freaking state. Pennsylvania. They called it a systematic cover-up. Now, stop right there. Systematic. I know you guys have heard us use that word before. because Penn State
Yeah.
and Michigan State was a systematic cover-up, where you have a group of people such as university, and now in this situation, Catholic churches covering up crimes. Schools sometimes doing on a lower level, like the Florida and Baylor and North Carolina.
I'm glad you finally admitted that.
Duke is coming.
No, we're not.
All these superstars they got on Duke, I don't know how they get them, but it got them.
Good.
I will find out.
Good.
They look so scary, by the way.
And then one of them ain't even playing right now.
It's craziness, man.
So,
But
yeah.
during the investigation, even though they are only after what happened in Pennsylvania, they admitted that this is a nationwide issue. That Catholic churches are covering up the behavior of priests and helping them escape from punishment.
I think it's a worldwide issue with the Catholic Church and the Pope and say, like, he's not saying nothing about this.
Nothing.
He's just hanging out. And
Thank you.
I don't know nothing.
And I have one quote from someone who was investigating, and this is how you should know that Pennsylvania is just, they have this mentality.
Yeah.
They say that, quote unquote, we need you to hear this. There have been other reports about child sex abuse within the Catholic churches, but never on this scale for many of us. Those stories happened somewhere else like New York. Now we know the truth that it happened everywhere.
Yeah.
How did they not know this was happening everywhere?
This cover-up has to be like one of the most complicated, complex schemes of all time. For 300 people and over how many? 1,000 victims?
1,000 victims. That's only been reported. There's no actual count of how many there is. This is just what they found.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that number is
It
way
could be
higher.
way high. Yeah.
Now, the report found, excuse me, the reports they found were documented, and they called them a diocese. Now, what that is, that's a district under the pastoral care of a bishop in the church, a.k.a. paperwork. It's pretty much a fancy word for paperwork. They found, listen to this, Jay, over 500,000 different documents detailing what these priests did to the church and did to their victims. The church documented them, but never reported it. Just documented them.
Okay.
Now, Jay, they pretty much ran a child molestation ring throughout the entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Now, the dark part, and this is pretty much where this podcast is going to get dark. But Jay, 500,000 different documents, 500,000.
I just can't believe, like, where, like, for priests, they have to be virgins, correct? I think I'm right?
I don't know.
I think so. Like, you can't have a wife. And I think this is what they're resorting to. I'm going to look that up, by the way.
Yeah, look that up. That is an
that's
interesting statistic.
Because I think the Pope has to be a virgin.
Wow.
I know that for sure. I believe. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
So technically they're saving themselves for them wives, and they're just
Well, I don't think they can do it.
releasing themselves on children.
They can't do it at all. Right? You can't have a wife. You can't have sex. Nothing.
Wow.
And
Yeah, look that up.
they're
Let's
just
fact check that.
releasing it on these kids. And yeah, let me check that out. But go ahead.
Yeah, wow. Side note, again, it was over 500,000 documents that was found. And Jay, these churches were dumb enough. You know what they labeled these documents as?
Boy,
Secret documents.
secret.
Didn't even try to hide them. Labeled them literally secret documents. Now, the bishop of the churches are the ones who had the key to all the filing cabinets because it would be under his desk. and only he can get to it. Yes, go ahead.
A Catholic priest must be a male and unmarried. So if you're not married, shouldn't be having sex no way. So if you're unmarried,